Hi everybody, welcome back to Allie's Voice. I'm Allison Love Beatty, and happy St. Patty's Day 2008. I'd like to broadcast today my adoration for great salesmanship. I put together a blog for my readers on alliesvoice.com to try and hypothesize how it was that salesmen back in the 80s were able to sell an unproven synthetic hormone to doctors, the FDA, and to patients. I think that the pharmaceutical reps are not so much responsible for selling to the patients as much as they are selling to the doctors and the FDA. The applications to the FDA were, I would say, not thorough and certainly not complete. And I say this in defense of the FDA because the information they're provided is how they're able to make their decisions on the safety and efficacy of the biosynthetic insulin. Okay, so let me stop a minute and explain something. The whole reason that I am just, I think the word obsessed might actually work very well because this is what I'm trying to figure out, how this was able to happen. In the decade of, I believe, what Greenspan referred to as irrational exuberance, was it? Yeah, irrational exuberance. The fact is that everybody was, chasing the next best, the next biggest, and when it comes to a therapy or a treatment for patients, the fact that this application, skirted through the FDA in record time, they actually even had to create a new type of application for this to happen, fast track. I think it was 6 months or something unbelievable like that. You have to turn around and look now, 25 years later, what this actually looks like. Neither here nor there. You know how those, I'm going to wrap this together with a point here and why. These Myers-Briggs personality tests, chemistry.com, match.com, they all use them to match people up. And as they say, opposites attract. And when I took a test like this, I measured obscenely analytical to the point where it is literally socially arresting. And I think that's why I'm obsessed with the way some salesmen do their job. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, they could literally sell a nation and sell the world into the necessity of a synthetic hormone that actually possibly caused the nature of the disease. But like I said, that goes back to my whole FDA application, what sort of information they did in fact provide the FDA and didn't. I feel bad because the FDA is getting kicked around here. People are coming down on the FDA for not knowing, but the only reason that this ignorance exists is because the studies were not thoroughly brandished to the FDA, nor were the prerequisite follow-up in the years subsequent to the introduction of these biosynthetic hormones. Stephen Hall wrote this book. Let's see if you can even see that it's called Invisible Frontiers. It more or less is a description as to how all of this happened, and I am just as much in favor for, decisions and options as the next person, but what has me outraged is the fact that there is no longer an option. If you wanted to use a less preservative type insulin or a more natural type insulin for your body, you don't even have that choice right now, and that's what sort of really got me where I am right now. And I know people like me who are trying to import insulins from other countries, and that right now we shouldn't have to be jumping through these hoops. I mean, that needs to stop. And I'm kind of thinking after the phone calls that I've made, the letters that I've written, and the attempts that I've tried to engage to make these insulins available here in the United States again, it doesn't suit the business models of pharmaceutical companies, because they make their money on selling you something not so much like insulin. And I know it acts similar to insulin, but the repercussions in the long term, if they're not protecting you from the complications, then they're not really acting like insulin in your body. They're just acting like the here and now, the immediate hypoglycemic effect, but not necessarily the protection of cell membranes and the way your body operates in the long term. Yeah. So that's my tirade for today. But in general, I still am absolutely floored at how good salesmen do their job. And I don't know, I'm looking for a few good salesmen, because when you're creating a revolution to try and educate and enlighten people on sometimes how tweaking science to the advantage of profitability is actually, it's hurting your collateral, and the collateral is your market. Your business objective is to keep them alive as long as possible so you can keep selling them the next level of medicine. And to me, that kind of seems like you're developing a crime, but you're convincing people it's what they need. And yeah, they do need it, because you know what you're creating. You're creating their needs. And that's nefarious. To me, that's nefarious. That's just my opinion. How do you feel about things? If you could use a insulin with less preservatives, an insulin that is more natural to what your body realizes, and therefore potentially it might, I think from the point of diagnosis with diabetes, depending on the type of insulin you're utilizing, I actually have a theory that I believe the type of insulin you're using from the very first day could either protect or continue the path of destruction of beta cells. And I actually believe that very much from an anecdotal perspective. What type of insulin did you start on? And can you stimulate C-peptide? That's what I'd like to know. I'll share my story. You share yours. I'll see you next time, guys. Happy St. Patty's Day. Be safe. Bye, guys.